Hi everybody, how are you doing? So today we're going to talk about the solar annual eclipse, the new moon, on October the 2nd, 2024, and what it means for us as a collective, but also what it means individually for your rising sign. So let's get into it. So yes, we do have a solar annual eclipse on October the 2nd, a new moon in Libra. And the new moon is the zodiac sign of Libra in conjunction with the sun in the zodiac sign of Libra. So the solar annual eclipse is when the moon passes the sun and blocks it. And that can bring a little bit of a challenge because we have the sun, which is in astrology what we are and how we deal with our feelings, our ego and our personal power. And the moon is kind of more of our emotions and our sensitivity and our intuition. So when those two meet, it can cause a little bit of an issue. It's not something that is really scary or anything to be afraid of, but it can bring about some consciousness, and particularly for an eclipse, it really does press on us to think about what we want to end in our life and what we want to bring into the future for us. So with the conjunction, the planets are kind of working together as a team to make things easier for you with the sun and the moon, but some of those kind of conjunctions can feel like they're giving you a bit of a hard time and maybe giving you a bit of a knock on the head and saying, maybe you need to think about this a little bit more. And that can be, for obvious reasons, a little bit uncomfortable. And with this solar annual eclipse, that will encompass the lunar eclipse path, which is the south node. So for those of you who don't know about the south node is really associated with the past. For some of us, we talk about it in past lives. I like to talk about it in past lives, but other people are different. It's kind of like where you're coming from, where you are going from, those lessons that you've learned, and in particular, what have you learned in your life? Where have you come from? What's your hometown? What's your upbringing and your roots? And how can you use that to start a new beginning? So the eclipse is the time of a new beginning, growth opportunity and the ending of something else. And I do use that word opportunity because I think this eclipse will bring some very unique opportunities. And this timing of the eclipse has this kind of 1 year shelf life, as we say, of the transforming event of them moving to something else and having that evolution. Although we do have another eclipse in Aries coming up. So I talk about this south node being more about your hometown, your past. So if you do know your past life, what the sign is, it's important to think about that in respect of your future. So for me, I am a Libra north node, which is my future and what I should be doing in this lifetime. And my south node is an Aries. And I was very much a warrior in my past life who was doing things alone in isolation. And in this life, I need to learn to be more of a team player. So how can I bring that element into this path I'm on right now, and how can I apply that to the eclipse? Because the North Node is our life's mission and our destiny and our soul growth. And so what do we need to do to develop right now and bring it on into a new part of our life, basically? So that's kind of an encompassing of the eclipse. So an ending of something and then a nice new opportunity for a beginning. So let's get into the rising signs. So if you are an Aries rising sign, then this will move through your 7th house of relationships, commitment, particularly committed relationships. So that's either a romantic partner or a business partner in some kind of professional setting for whatever that is. 7th house is actually ruled by Libra, so this is quite pertinent. Libra is all about harmony and balance, justice, cooperation in relationships and dealing with others, and especially more of an external range of dealing with other people. So things I wouldn't do right now is lose your temper, have an accusatory nature to your voice, because Libras do not like being judged and don't like having that accusation at them, although they do it a lot to other people. And Aries in the 7th house is all about those important partnerships, because Aries is about leadership and management, and so this very much could be a moment for you to make a decision about a commitment. You could start a partnership that is kind of like a tutelage, like one-on-one, or you could just be looking for a commitment in a decision that you make, not necessarily a romantic partnership. But the 7th house is associated with partnerships, marriage, unions, agreements, and if we think about it in tarot, it's the Justice card, so contracts and law, and maybe sort of an open-ended kind of decision on that part. For Taurus Rising, the annual eclipse will move through your sixth house of day-to-day activities, and this house is ruled by Virgo. So things that you probably don't want to be doing during this eclipse is getting on the wrong side of somebody. You may need to prove your, not necessarily your worth, but your commitment to something. Always reminds me of a Declaration of Independence in America, like really saying, I'm going to pledge my allegiance to something. And for some of you, really needing to read the fine print of something. So Taurus in the sixth house brings spotlight to work, collegiality with co-workers, physical health. So you might be starting a new gym routine or starting a diet. You might be focusing on trying to get a new work environment, a new job, a new beginning in that respect, because the sixth house is associated with daily routines, work environment, health, food as well. So it could be a specific diet, but also for some of you, that's paying a karmic debt and having a cleanse, trying to start a new healthy habit. So for a lot of you, you might be stripping away an unhealthy habit. I will have a tarot video coming for this week, which talks about some of you getting rid of this toxic relationship in your life during the eclipse. So that's quite pertinent too. For Gemini Rising, the eclipse will move through your fifth house of creativity and dating. And this house is ruled by Leo. So things to not do is to tell someone point blank to their face they're wrong, or to criticize them, because it could cause issues. But Gemini in the fifth house is more of an attention on this fun and flirty energy, desire to start a new beginning, passion. So you might decide to start dating someone new, or you might decide to start a new business with something that you're really good at, like a hobby that you then turn into a business. Or you might actually, in fact, just start a new hobby that interests you. And as I said, the fifth house is associated with romance and creativity. For some of you, this is more around parenthood, actually, and children. So if you're not interested in dating, it could be more of an onus on your parental skills or your children. And it could also be about projects and creative pursuits, if you're interested in that as well. For Cancer Rising, so the eclipse will be in your fourth house of home and family. So you could be focusing more on your actual physical house. So some of you could be wanting to move house. You could be focusing on where you want to really put your roots down. And for others, it could be a focus on children or parents. For some of you, your parents may be getting older and you're thinking about looking after them, about housing them and things of the sort. With Cancer, the quickest way to, I would say, do the wrong thing during this eclipse is to, again, be more accusatory, because they're a very sensitive soul, so I wouldn't be accusing them of anything. But with this eclipse in the fifth house, this is starting something new, deciding to move into your dream home, really putting a focus on real estate or putting stuff down on a house deposit, trying to go back into your heritage a little bit more. So saying, hey, mum, dad, like, what did my grandparents actually do, and started focusing on that, because the fourth house is associated with home and family, particularly the mother actually as well, with land and property, and also the kind of core values that you have for your values. So what I mean by that is that your inner self, you know, sort of focusing on that a little bit more as well. Leo Rising, this will move through your third house of communication and writing. So this house is ruled by Gemini. So the things that you probably don't want to do is not be open to change and be a little bit more expressive with trying something new and in fact communicating, because Gemini get very stimulated by communication, and so you don't want to keep quiet during this period, and you don't want to necessarily get stuck in a specific place either. For this, you might want to think about buying a new car or a new bit of property, making new relationships, speaking your truth, being engaged with communication, you know, spending time with family, or working with somebody quite immediately. And in that fact, I mean, like, hey, should we start this project now? And really talking about it, because the third house is associated with communications, with thinking and speaking and writing. For some of you that work in sales and marketing, it's a really important time for you during that. It gives me energy of PR. So there could be, you could be experiencing some kind of, not necessarily scandal, but focusing on keeping all of your things in order. There's an element of not telling the truth here and things coming to light. So you definitely want to make sure that things are, that you don't have any skeletons in the closet, as it were. But it also focuses on local environment as well. So it could have issues with the local environment in that regard. For Virgo Rising, which is my stepmom. Hey, stepmom, if you're watching this. Virgo Rising moves to the second house of money, finances, values, and material possessions, which is great for Virgo this coming week because they're very focused on income. And the second house is ruled by Taurus. And so for Taurus, you don't want to, at the moment, tell people to hurry up and do something they don't want to do, because there needs to be an element of patience here, as with all finances. For this eclipse with Virgo, you may want to start evaluating your self-worth and your financial position, what you've accomplished and what you're actually doing, and embracing, I would say, this new journey and this new beginning that you're going to be on, and how will your money be able to work in your favor and not in your detriment here. Because the second house is associated with material values, gaining and losing possessions, security, wealth. It's just rich energy, basically, but also your personal self-esteem as well. And for some of you, maybe starting a new diet, because Virgo does historically have that link to having a bad tummy. So you may be focusing on diet as well. For Libra Rising, and this is going to be very important because this is your first house of self, how you appear to the world. And the best thing you can do right now is support those around you and support yourself and your goals, and not get in the way of your goals. Don't get in the way of how you view yourself. Don't let someone else's opinion bother you. Because this is about self-perception and also how other people perceive us. So Libra in the first house is going to talk about some major changes with our appearance. So for some of us, we're going to be focusing on how we look, getting a nice haircut, or just thinking, what, I don't really care what other people think of me. I'm going to step into my power and feel emboldened in that decision to step into my power with either a new project, a new journey. Or for some of you even traveling, how do people in other countries perceive me? How am I expressing myself with my ego and my image, and how I'm responding to other people? And so Libra is how we're naturally going to perceive ourselves in this rising sign, and feeling very vital, I think physically vital, and feeling just good about our goals and moving towards that. So that's for Libra Rising. God, I'm going fast through these and not taking a break. I know some of you are going to be like, God, she talks fast. I do talk fast. Slow me down on the little YouTube thing if you need. I can't change myself, unfortunately. So Scorpio Rising. So this will move through your 12th house of, I would say, sort of self and karmic energy and the hidden. And this is actually a house ruled by Pisces. So the thing you need to do is you need to listen to people around you, listen to their narrative. What are they trying to say to you? And what will that lesson give to you? The thing you don't want to do is not listen to people around you, not listen to yourself, and make people feel like they're not there. Scorpio in the 12th house will talk a lot about karma and the hidden. And matters of, I would say, getting that closure from a relationship in your life or a situation, and getting that kind of karma. So you might feel a little bit not emboldened, a little bit disconnected with going into this new journey, because you're in this healing moment. The 12th house is associated with endings, and so with the eclipse it can really hit you quite hard, Scorpio. So what's hidden, karma, spirituality, going on that dark night of the soul, meditation and dreams, really focusing on your dreams, focusing on intuition and weaknesses, destruction. I think you're really just going to be going through it, as I always say, sitting in a dark room for 30 minutes and really understanding what this karmic journey has been giving you. So Scorpio Rising, you may be feeling this eclipse a little bit more than everyone else. Sagittarius Rising. So this moves through your 11th house of community and wishes and beauty, and Aquarius rules the house of networking, actually. So if you are a particularly anxious attachment style, and this might be quite challenging for you because Aquarius is not. They're very detached. They have a bit more of an avoidant attachment behavior, and so if you're trying to come at a position in a very needy energy, you may not get it working in your favor. You might not get a good response. And with this particular energy for the eclipse, you know, you'll have be working with like-minded people in an organization, being connected with groups that are exciting. So you might want to join like a new writing group or something along those lines, and dealing with really trying to express your dreams and your hopes here, and how people in your life inspire you and how you inspire others. Because the 11th house is associated with I feel like I just had a slip there. The 11th house is associated with social media and sharing knowledge and large events. I'm a Sagittarius Mercury, which explains why I can never get a word out properly, so apologies for that. But the 11th house deals with community and friendship, so for some of you being a little bit more social, going out to parties, or just finding someone that you're like, hey, we could start a podcast together, and alliances in that regard. So I think that's going to be very beneficial for you right now, Sagittarius Rising. For Capricorn Rising, if you're a Capricorn Rising like me, this is going to be through our 10th house of career and public life. So Capricorn rules this house of public recognition, actually, so that's really important. But Capricorn, if you're a person that just likes to do the bare minimum, then this is not going to be for you, because Capricorns are hard workers, right? So we don't want that. The bar is set so low. Capricorn in the 10th house forces you to evaluate your ambition and your goals. Capricorn is very ambitious. I definitely know I'm very ambitious. So you may want to start a new beginning with a new job, a new career, focusing on a new project, or maybe even pivoting towards a new area of work. So maybe you work in life sciences, but you want to work towards more of an arts kind of area. And I think focusing on that will allow you to move ahead. For some of us, it's really on the verge of a promotion and moving forward to something. For me, I know I'm becoming a manager with my work, so I'm definitely going to be in a promotional field, as that were. And so the 10th house rules our ambition. It also rules the military and authority. So if some of you are in the army or know people are in the army, political kind of ranking, I would say, and also just honor and achievements. So we're really going to be focusing on our achievements, what we've done in the past, I'd say 5 years actually, from 5 to 7 years, I would say, and then evaluating the future. So for Aquarius Rising, this will be through the 9th house of higher learning and education and spirituality. This house is ruled by Sagittarius. So I would say the things not to do would be positive, because Sagittarius is not a negative sign and does not really like emotional chaos, although some people say Sagittarius is very chaotic, and I can say that as a Sagittarius stellium. But Aquarius in the 9th house talks about perspective and being expansive. You know, you might want to start looking into spirituality and focusing on that. You may want to plan a long distance trip to understand other people's cultures and how they operate in life, and how that can advance your own spirituality and your own learning. I love traveling myself, a big Sagittarius in that way. And the 9th house is associated with travel, but also religion and churches. So for some of you, thinking more about your spirituality, maybe some of you are getting close to a particular deity or God. For some of you, you're starting a new school and getting close to teachers, others learning new languages, and I think for the majority of people, it's going to be focusing on unknown areas that we haven't been before, whether mental or physical. And finally, for Pisces Rising, the annual eclipse will move through your 8th house of transformation, and this house is ruled by Scorpio, and this is very much the hidden and a little bit of spicy energy as well. And so the thing that you probably shouldn't be doing during this kind of energy, I would say, is it's not trusting people around you. I think you want to be able to be as open as possible because of the 8th house of the hidden. So I don't think you want to be walking around saying, I'm keeping my cards really close to my chest. I think you need to focus on your shadow side a little bit. And so the 8th house with this lunar eclipse, I think, is going to throw you off balance a little bit. You're going to be like, wait, is somebody not telling me something? And if you watch my tarot video for the next coming week, it focuses on their secret and lies and actually really wanting to make a relationship work. So I think for a lot of you, you're wanting to make a relationship work with this eclipse. You maybe had a bad experience in the past with somebody, but you're wanting to move forward, and not really focus on the lies and the secrets, because the 8th house is associated with lies and secrets, but also debt as well. So some of you not wanting to get yourself in debt based on, you know, if you didn't have life insurance or medical insurance, or you having to pay too much tax on something. For others, if you focus on this in the right way and you really do sit with it, this could be a windfall for you in relation to finance. But for a lot of you, this is going to be a massive karmic lesson. And I think making the choice to either end something, or not necessarily fully end it, but alchemize it and transform it. So you had a relationship that you left behind and now you are pushing it forward. I think that's going to be a really important, an important focus for you. So that was all of the rising signs. I think that's all of them. I'll probably come in to edit this and be like, oh, I've left one out. But this is how the solar annual eclipse Libra will affect you. I hope you enjoyed that. Leave a comment down below if you think this resonates with you. Every person will be different and every person will take this differently, because you're not just your rising sign, of course, you are your sun sign and your moon sign. And so it does affect us in that way. And because Libra is a 7th house and it's Venus related, some of us are going to be focusing a lot more on relationships in this regard. So hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you for maybe a next video around.